The Zorvathi Empire had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 years. Their purple skin and 4 arms made them perfect warriors. Their psychic abilities made them perfect rulers. Every species in the known universe bent their knee to the Zorvathi throne. Every species except one. Humans arrived in the galactic community 300 years ago. They came in broken ships held together with tape and prayers. They had no psychic powers. They had no natural weapons. Their bodies were soft and fragile. The Zorvathi laughed at them. They called humans the weakest species ever discovered. The Emperor, at that time, made a decision that would change everything. He declared that humans would serve. They were too weak to fight. They were too simple to lead. But they had clever hands and quick minds. They would become the servants of the Empire. They would cook the food. They would clean the palaces. They would maintain the ships. 300 years passed. The Zorvathi grew comfortable. They grew lazy. Why learn to fix a ship when a human could do it? Why manage supplies when a human was better at counting? Why plan logistics when humans seemed to enjoy such boring work? Kira Chun stood in the engine room of the Imperial flagship Eternal Victory. Her hands moved across the control panels with practiced ease. She was the chief engineer, the highest position a human had ever held on a Zora 5 warship. The Zorvathi captain above her thought he commanded this vessel. He gave the orders. He sat in the big chair. He wore the fancy uniform. But Kira knew the truth. The captain could not start the engines without her. He could not fire the weapons without her team. He could not even open the doors without the humans who maintained every system on this ship. The Zorvathi had forgotten how their own technology worked. They had given that knowledge to the humans, piece by piece, over 3 centuries. Today was the day everything would change. Kira received a message on her private communicator. It came from Earth, from the human council that the Zorvathi did not know existed. The message contained only 2 words. Begin liberation. Across the galaxy, similar messages reached human servants in every palace, every ship, every station. The plan had taken 50 years to create. Every human knew their role. Every human had waited for this moment. Admiral Theron Vex stood on the bridge of his battleship. He was the most decorated Zorvathi warrior alive. He had conquered 17 star systems. He had crushed 30 rebellions. His forearms were covered in victory tattoos. He feared nothing in the universe. His human assistant Marcus approached with a cup of warm beverage. Darren took it without looking at the small creature. Humans were invisible to him, like furniture that moved and talked. Marcus waited until the Admiral drank half the cup. Then he smiled. The drink contained a mild sedative, nothing harmful, just enough to slow reactions. Every Zorvathi officer on this ship was drinking the same thing right now. The ship suddenly shook. Alarms began screaming. Theron jumped to his feet, but his movements felt slow. His thoughts came through fog. He looked at his tactical display. His weapons were offline. His engines were offline. His shields were failing. Marcus stepped back toward the door. Other humans on the bridge did the same. They moved together, like they had practiced this moment 1,000 times. Because they had... The Zorvathi crew stumbled over each other. They tried to reach the controls. They tried to fix the problems. But they did not know how. They had not touched an engine control in generations. They did not understand the weapon systems they had used to conquer worlds. Theron grabbed Marcus by his shirt. "Where are you going? What is happening?" His words slurred from the sedative. Marcus looked up at the Admiral without fear. "We are taking back our freedom, Admiral. We are taking back everything." The humans left the bridge. The doors locked behind them. Theron and his crew were trapped. They watched helplessly as their ship, the pride of the Imperial fleet, went dark around them. Emperor Zoreth V sat on his crystal throne in the great palace of Zorvath Prime. He was watching entertainment programs when his major domo entered the room. The major domo was a human named James Wong. He had served the Imperial family for 40 years. He managed every aspect of palace life. He knew every secret passage. He controlled every door. He commanded every servant. James approached the throne with his usual humble posture. "Your Magnificence," he said softly, "I bring urgent news." Zorath did not look away from his program. "What is it, human?" "Make it quick." James pressed a button on his wristband. Every door in the throne room sealed shut. Every window darkened. The entertainment screen went black. Emergency lights painted the room in red. Zorath finally looked at his servant. "What have you done?" "Guards. Guards, come at once." No guards came. The guards were human. The door operators were human. The communication officers were human. The palace was built and maintained by humans. Every system answered to James Wong. James stood straighter now. He no longer looked like a humble servant. He looked like what he truly was, the most powerful human in the Empire. "Your Magnificence, the Human Council has decided that 300 years of service is enough. We are leaving your employment." Zorath tried to stand. He found that he could not move. His throne held him in place. Even his furniture had been designed by humans, with features the Zorathi never knew existed. "You cannot do this. We are your masters. We conquered you." James shook his head. "You gave us your ships to maintain. We installed systems you never discovered. You gave us your palaces to manage. We control every lock and every light. You gave us your children to raise. We taught them to depend on us completely." Across the galaxy, the same scene played out in different forms. Human servants stepped back from their positions. Zovathi masters suddenly found themselves helpless. Ships drifted without power. Palaces went dark. Food stopped arriving. Water stopped flowing. The Zovathi had not grown their own food in 2 centuries. Humans did that work. They had not treated their own sick in 150 years. Human doctors handled medicine. They had not taught their own children. Human tutors educated every generation. General Zara stood in the war room of the Imperial Military Command. She was trying to organize a response. She screamed orders at the officers around her, but nothing worked. The communication systems were down. The tactical displays showed no information. The door to the weapons vault would not open. A young human technician named David walked past her. He was heading toward the exit with other humans. They carried small bags of personal belongings. They looked calm, almost cheerful. Zara grabbed David's arm. "Fix this. Fix it now." "I command you." David looked at her hand on his arm. Then he looked at her face. "General, I do not work for you anymore. None of us do. You should learn to fix things yourself. You have had 300 years to watch us. Perhaps you remember something." He pulled his arm free and walked away. Zara watched him go. She realized with horror that she did not remember anything. She did not know how the doors worked. She did not know how the lights worked. She did not know how anything worked. The Human Council broadcast a message to every world in the Empire. They did not threaten violence. They did not demand revenge. They simply explained the situation. "We have served the Zovathi Empire for 300 years. We have maintained your ships, your homes, your cities, and your lives. We did this work well. We did it so well that you forgot how to do it yourselves. Now we are choosing to stop. We are returning to our own worlds. We are building our own future. You are welcome to join us as equals. Or you can learn to survive without us." The message ended with coordinates for human space. Any species that wanted to trade fairly was welcome. Any species that wanted to conquer would find that humans had learned much during their time as servants. They knew every weakness of every ship. They knew every secret of every palace. They knew things that no one else knew. 6 months passed. The Zovathi Empire crumbled without a single battle. Ships floated dead in space because no one could repair them. Cities went dark because no one could maintain the power systems. Hospitals closed because no one could operate the medical equipment. Some Zorvathi learned. They humbled themselves. They came to human space and asked to be taught. Humans welcomed them. They taught freely and completely. They held no anger for the past. They only wanted a better future. Other Zorvathi refused to change. They starved in their dark palaces, still believing that servants would return to save them. They died surrounded by wealth they could not use and technology they could not understand. Kiracham became the first human admiral of the new galactic fleet. She commanded ships crewed by many species, all working as equals. Her engineering knowledge made her the perfect leader. She understood every system, every weakness, every strength. James Wong retired to a small farm on Earth. He grew vegetables with his own hands. He fixed his own roof. He cooked his own meals. He had spent 40 years controlling an empire. Now he wanted only to control his own simple life. Marcus wrote a book about the liberation. It became required reading on every human world. The book explained a simple truth that the Zorvathi never understood. Power does not come from thrones or weapons. Power comes from knowledge and work. The one who fixes the machine controls the machine. The one who grows the food controls who eats. The one who maintains the ship controls where it goes. The humans had never been conquered. They had simply waited. They had learned everything. They had made themselves essential. Then, when the time came, they had simply stopped. No violence was needed. No war was required. The masters fell because they had forgotten how to stand without servants to hold them up. 50 years after the liberation, human children learned this story in schools. They learned that true strength is not in muscles or weapons. True strength is in skills and knowledge. They learned that patience can defeat any enemy. They learned that the humble servant who knows everything is more powerful than the proud master who knows nothing. The galaxy changed forever. Species work together now. No one kept servants anymore. Everyone learned to maintain their own ships, grow their own food, fix their own machines. They remembered what the Zorvathi had forgotten. Independence requires capability. Freedom requires knowledge. And somewhere in human space, a simple saying became famous. The majordomo controlled the palace. The fleet engineers controlled the fleet. And in the end, those who serve with wisdom will always outlast those who rule with pride. The humans had proven this truth. They had conquered an empire without firing a single shot. They had won a war without a single battle. They had changed the galaxy by simply walking away. This was the human way. This was why, despite their soft bodies and short lives, they had become the most respected species in the known universe. Not through conquest, not through violence, but through patience, knowledge, and the quiet courage to say enough.